Hello all. Today I am looking at some words from in and around East Perthshire. So some of the words for what are kut, which appears to be an older word. I don't think it's used all that often these days, but I use it because I like it. It's easy to remember. But there are other forms, for example, guje, and also je. So I think it went in evolution from kut to guje and then je, perhaps, something like that. But the most common one these days is je. And then you'd use it somewhat like kut va kod ed. So what was putting on him, or what was affecting him, what was making him feel bad, I suppose. Or guje va kod ed. Or je va kod ed. So the next one I want to look at was some words for why, the word why in English. And this gets complicated because in other dialects it's generally carson, I believe, that they use. But in Perthshire, especially in East Perthshire, the word kimad is often used for why. And you can see some, if you're a Scots speaker or if you live in Scotland, you can see some sort of parallels, because a lot of people, when I was living in Dundee, for example, they would say how, instead of why. And so I guess that's where the similarity is. That's where they perhaps get it from. But another one that I've happened upon in the books is jesson, which I have not found anywhere else but in the one book. So I don't know whether it was a word that was commonly used or if it was only like an idiolectic thing. I don't know, but it could have been just idiolect, or it could have been dialectal. I just don't know. But it is a word that is used, so I use it from time to time. Some other ways to say why would be like in English, what was the reason? Or actually, there's two real words that they use for that, would be över and reason. And I think both of them are like reason in a way. So you could say something like, what was the reason? Je and döver, or je and reason. Or guje and döver, guje and reason. Or couldn't döver, or couldn't reason. And then to put it into a sentence, you could say something like Kimad va egri gol an. So why did he have to go there, I think, would be the translation. So va egri was at him, towards or to, gol, go, and then an is there. So to use some of the other forms, you could say, I guess, Jason va egri gol an, or Jen döver va egri gol an, or Jen resen va egri gol an, Gujen döver va egri gol an, Kun döver va egri gol an, etc. The word for how is the same as the word for why, I guess. Kimed. And it'd be something like Kimed how. So how are you? Wanting, so to want something or to want to do something, is expressed slightly differently to standard, I suppose. Often I see people in standard forms or other dialects saying giari. So I guess asking for. So, but in the books that I have, it's often either sheared, so seeking, or tolach. Tolach is kind of like willing. And often I think it's used that way in other dialects, perhaps. I'm not entirely sure. But in the way that it's used in the Perthshire material that I have, it's often expressing a desire to do something or for something. So the forms that I found are tolach and tolach ed. Tolach, tolach ed. Vai tolach gambiecha. Vai tolach gambiecha. So something like she was wishing that he would, or he would be, or she was wanting that he would be, something like that. And then another form would be va tolach ed koresta. Va tolach ed koresta. Which is something like they were wanting upon or wishing upon putting out of him, or basically killing or destroying him. That's a common phrase I found is kord esta, which is like to put out or to kill, to exterminate, annihilate, something like that. Not nice anyway. And then the other form that I found is with sheed, which is vai sheed echgin. So she wants to see him. In this case, that echgin is coming from fechgin, but it's changing because in front of it there is a possessive pronoun. So in other dialects. But in East Perthshire, or in Perthshire in general, that word was actually never said, and it just became a change at the front of the verb. So in other dialects, I found that they say aoibhinn, or I believe it's aoibhinn, for excited. I am excited for, etc. But I've never found that form used in East Perthshire or in Perthshire in general. And the forms that I've run into are ones like ngas ed, or ngaske, or roholach. So this kas originally I think means like case or emergency, and it comes up as ansharsho. So in this case, ansharsho, or anskach kas in every emergency. But when it is used for excited, it'd be something like hami ngas ed. So I'm anxious for it or him, or I'm excited for it or him. I believe that's how it's meant to be translated. And then the other one that I've come across is charoa roholach and doshach. So he wasn't too excited at the beginning. Charoa roholach and doshach. But it can also be used in the positive as well as in the negative. So hami roholach. There are likely other forms, but I'm not entirely sure. And it's possible that aoibhinn was also used, but I just haven't run into it, unfortunately. So some words regarding fun. And in standard, I suppose, or in a lot of the dialects around the area where standard... I keep saying standard, it's not really standard. It's kind of like a mix of the remaining powerful, or, the dialects with the most speakers. But, from what I've seen, a lot of people use spores. And something like... fun as in the adjective would be sporshel or sporsel, maybe something like that, but that's not a word that I've really come across in my material. Instead, I found other ones like ayed or jivesan or play. There's also words like eibhinn, which I use as an adjective. So the first ones I mentioned were all nouns, but eibhinn is used as an adjective from what I can tell. So often I think like when something is amusing or funny, you would say aoibhinn. So var aoibhinn. It was funny or it was amusing. Air is used for like joy or merriment or fun, I suppose. And for example, in the sentence, that would be my joy, you'd say something like be shin mayed, something like that. Be shin mayed. So that was that my joy, or something like that. And then another one that I found with air is in this sentence, vardi dans air. Vardi dans air. They were dancing and having fun. So often when having fun or having a ball or whatever it is, it would be ri and then air. With a play, which I think comes from the Scots ploy, like a trick. I've found it used like this: imid play. So much amusement, imid play. And then jiversan, which comes from the word diversion, I believe. It is haromi achri jiversan. Haromi achri jiversan. I was only having fun. I'm guessing that these words like ploy and jiversan are both used for like fun and to also like mess with people, as you know, to have fun with people, to joke around, etc. Another one that I've come across in various texts is spursht and sporsht for sport. Now, if the word sports was used in and around Perthshire, it would make sense that it would have the T ending at the end, like the sh. So sporsht, like that. The reason for that is that the word for sort or type, I think it's shors in other dialects, is sorsht in East Perthshire, and also shors, I think, shows up sometimes. So because of that, it would make sense. And spursht, the word spursht, I actually found in Armstrong's dictionary, and he was a Perthshire Gaelic speaker. So it would make sense that that word was used in the area. So some sayings for you made a mess of it. There's a couple of them that I've come across. One from Blal, which is Rinu yobasht ye. Rinu yobasht ye. You made a mess of it. Another one is Rinu bruasht ye. Rinu bruasht ye. And Rinu ribadan ye. Rinu ribadan ye. And they all have basically the same meaning, like you stuffed up, you made a mess of it, you effed it up. So yeah. Some words for nearly or almost are luai edvi or luai ed, nyash, and havornach. Another one also is heps. And they all have slightly different uses, which can be a bit complicated. But, for example, luai or luai is often used with the word jesh, it seems. So, almost ready. Luai jesh. Luai jesh, I believe. Nyash it has two meanings. One is it is used in like almost all. So I had almost all the pudding, that sort of meaning. For example, nyash vagam, almost all which was at me, or almost all that I had. Nyash vagam. The other one, havornach, is basically almost about to be. So yeah, really about to be killed, about to be shot, about to be something like that. So havornach dorin mia. So it isn't big that I didn't do it. So I almost did it. Chavor nach dorimia. Hebs is almost like chavor nach. So it's used in the same way. So hebs varu. So almost his death, almost his killing, almost his murder, I guess. So he was almost killed, essentially. And then nyasht is also used to mean, in the same way as hebs and chavor, something that almost happened or whatever. So va nyasht maru. Though this form of nyasht I haven't found in East Perthshire, but I have found in a West Perthshire book. So I'm not entirely sure whether it was used exactly the same way in East Perthshire, but I'm going to assume that it was, because they weren't that far away from each other. So the next words we're going to look at are words for middling, or I suppose doing meh. So the first one is niari. I suppose it's used like hami niari. So I am in wanting, I suppose, or I am in asking is the direct translation. And yeah, it seems to have been used to mean middling. And then another form is kuishach. I suppose it'd be just like hami kuishach, I'm middling. So those are some words for middling. There are probably other ones, but I'm really not entirely sure, to be honest. And then there are some words, the last ones we'll look at are for even. So even I, even he knows, etc. So there's two of them that I've come across. One of them is few, which is the one that is used in my East Perthshire book. The other one is, I think, a loan word from the word even. And I'm not entirely sure of the pronunciation. I'm guessing it's something like either yarn, or jorgen, but I'm not entirely sure. I just go with yarn because it kind of makes sense. It's spelled E-A-D-H-O-N. Now, in East Perthshire, the D-H, the R sound, was not often used in the middle of a word. The O-N, I assume, would be a schwa sound, so become like like that. And then E-A could go a few different ways. I'm assuming it'd be ya, because I've seen that pattern in other words as well. But it could also be yo, it could be other forms, I'm not entirely sure. But I believe it's yaun. And it's used basically, I guess, like English, so even my mother would be something like few maved, or jan maved, something like that. Jan maved or few maved. I may well be wrong though. A lot of this is just me reading the books and kind of trying to take from it as much as I can. So there's probably going to be parts that I'm making mistakes on, but nevertheless, I find all of these things quite interesting, and I'm going to hopefully do a few more of these sorts of videos, like looking into some of the different words that are in Perthshire Gaelic. And I'm also going to hopefully continue working on the course. I've got a couple more videos that I have done. I just need to release them. And yeah, I don't know how many people are actually listening to or paying attention to these videos, but even if it's just one person, I'm grateful that you stick around and listen to my ramblings. It's if nothing else, it's good practice for me because, I have a baby on the way. Well, not me per se. It's partly my child, half my DNA. So I would like to share Gaelic with my child eventually. So in doing so, I need to get better at Gaelic. So I need to keep practicing, and a good way to keep practicing is making videos, I think. So finding time and putting them all together and stuff like that can be a bit troublesome, but it is good practice. Anyway, thank you very much for listening to the end, and take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bianach lei